The year is 2024. With a high of 88 degrees and scattered showers over the past couple of days, the weather is humid, a normal occurrence for the vibrant metropolitan area of Houston, Texas. A landscaping crew is cleaning up the Little White Oak Bayou when they see something out of place in a tree. It's a body. Hi, my name is Ariana, and I'm your host for Lone Star Lost, a podcast about real missing and unidentified persons cases here in Texas. My goal is to find all the information and raise awareness of these cases, with the hope that we can give names to the forgotten and peace to the lost. Today's case is about a Jane Doe. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to give her a nickname for this show. I know her NamUs case number, UP129619, but I find it dehumanizing to say it too much. So I've decided to give her the nickname Aspen for this episode, just to remind myself and everyone else that she was a person. Let's get into the facts of the case. Truth be told, there's not much that's publicly available. Aspen was found August 31st, 2024, as skeletal remains entangled in a tree near Little White Oak Bayou in Houston. Nothing was left of her clothing besides a pair of black sweatshorts. Aspen isn't alone in her mysteries. Based on my search of the National Missing and Unidentified Person System, or NamUs, there were 51 missing persons cases logged and 4 unidentified persons cases between January 1st, 2024 and August 31st, 2024 in Houston, Texas, that are still active today. In a city with thousands of crimes happening every year, teeming with people and covered in complex roadways, sometimes even the locals turn up missing in their own city. So we've heard the investigative facts. Let's tie in some slightly less related information. Harris County is enormous. The landmass alone is enough to make solving crimes a complicated task. Now add in almost 5 million residents, tons of commuters from nearby cities, domestic and international travelers, and an enormous call volume for any first responders to handle. This isn't even getting into the issue of how water drains in the city of Houston. When it rains in Houston, everything is designed to kind of wash out into the roadways and then down into the bayous and creeks. This helps to keep houses safe during major flooding events and keeps the streets safe during minor flooding events. But if bodies are found near waterways after rain like this, it can complicate the investigation. Aspen wasn't the only body found in that bayou. They found another just a couple of months later, right there in Little White Oak Bayou. In 2025, around 30 bodies were found in Houston bayous in the span of about 2 months. The bayous and waterways just drain into each other. There's no real way of knowing where Aspen was originally located. There's even less way to know how she even got to her initial resting place, let alone tangled in that tree in the bayou. Investigators have publicly stated, and I want to reinforce here, that they do not believe these cases are connected. It is really important to trust the professionals in these cases. It's awful, and the human brain loves a pattern, but patterns try to fill in facts that aren't there, and we don't do that here. Assuming things about Aspen's or others' cases only adds to the rumor mill and muddies the waters for the police. Speaking of the police, we can't blame investigators here. According to Houston Public Media, the Houston Police Department received reports of nearly 27,000 violent crimes in 2024. They were swamped, as always in a city that big. Her case is sadly a really tough one. Skeletons are hard to identify, owing to limited identifiable features. DNA and dental records take time, and it's really less than 2 years at the time of this recording. That's chump change in an investigation like this. And considering Aspen was skeletal when she was discovered, it's hard to tell when she even actually died. Was it weeks, months, years even? There's really no way to know any more about this case without dental records or other forensic DNA assessment. And information about that concerning this case has not been publicly released that I am aware of. I'm sure that investigators are busy with cases that they can solve a little easier, like unidentified persons with more identifiable features, or a recent missing persons case, or even just solving strings of home break-ins. The world is constantly in motion, and Houston is no exception to that. It's tragic that Aspen has to stand still, but in the end, we have to understand that things go as fast as they go. I'm going to go a bit off topic here to kind of bring some light into this. I've taken some extensive first aid training. I'm a firefighter. I have lots of family friends in the medical field. With all that knowledge I've absorbed, I'm going to introduce you to a concept that not a lot of the public understands called triage. You ever been to the ER and been stuck waiting in a room for a few hours? And you probably wondered what took them so long. Well, probably what happened was that your laceration requiring stitches, or your small burn from touching the inside of the oven, or even a child with a toy up their nose, well, they had to be put aside to make way for someone with a nicked artery, or a gunshot wound, or hell, maybe even a mother in distress labor. It sucks, but there are not enough doctors or nurses or even EMTs to go around, and resources have to be sent where they do the most good for the people in the most danger. Police departments are the same. While I would love to see Aspen's case get some attention, I know from monthly reports that Houston PD had 16 murder and non-negligent manslaughter cases in January of this year, 2026 alone. They had 37 reported rapes. They had 5 arson cases. And January in Houston saw over 1,000 aggravated assaults. Those are cases that can and must be solved and attended to immediately. This may seem callous, but Aspen's case is in the investigative stage. She isn't going anywhere now that she's been found. They have investigators just for cases like hers, I'm sure. But they're spread thin. We can't ignore the known living in favor of the unknown dead. Aspen will see her justice. It just might take a while. All right, let's look at this again from a wide angle to wrap this episode up. The skeletal remains of a 24 to 44-year-old woman were found entangled in a tree near Little White Oak Bayou. She was only wearing a pair of black sweatpants-style shorts. It had rained a bit recently after a long stretch of scorching Houston, Texas heat, and no identifiable features are available to share with the public. We know that Houston is the kind of city anyone could get lost in by bad luck or bad timing or anything at all, really. It's huge, traffic is a nightmare, construction shifts enough to confuse and frustrate the locals, and the sheer number of people is enough to make your head spin. This case is complicated, and in the grand scheme of forensics, 2 years is not the worst time for a case like this. I know they're looking for her name and for her story. But none of that will happen in a fast-paced, spread out, jam-packed city like Houston unless someone who knows something says. If you know something about this case or other cases, speak up. If you know more about Aspen, NamUs case number UP129619, please contact the Houston Institute of Forensic Sciences at 832-927-5000. She can't have her name back until someone speaks up. Thank you for listening. My name is Ariana, and I run this podcast as a one-woman operation out of my home. Recording and editing is done using Riverside, and hosting is exclusively on Spotify. A list of sources can be obtained by emailing us at lonestarlost.podcast@gmail.com. If you would like to hear about a specific missing or unidentified persons case on this podcast, please email us. Have a great day and stay safe.